When's the last time you slept?
Last night. Got a good 8 or 9 minutes in.
Nightmares?
Does it get better?
It gets tolerable.
What's up, everybody? This is Zach with the Nerd Cave. Hope that you're having an awesome day. Today we're going to be talking about Gears 5. I am so glad that they have taken a new route with Gears 5 compared to Gears 4. Gears 4 was just bleh. Gears 5 has done such a great job of coming in, making me feel like I actually care about the characters, and it has some technical issues here and there, but has done an awesome job on revitalizing my interest in the series going forward. So let's jump into the things that I think make up what you want to know. Gameplay. Gameplay is very similar to the other Gears games, with the tight corridors, with the over the shoulder, cover third person view and all of that kind of stuff. Same kind of gameplay, but they've introduced some new elements that I think really breaks up the gameplay monotony that we've seen over the years with Gears, with the same sort of deal, with only introducing a few new weapons here and there. They do introduce some new weapons. One of my favorites is definitely the Lancer grenade launcher, and it is really cool and really awesome. But the new gameplay elements that they've introduced is they have a bot named Jack in the game, which the original had a Jack as well. But this one you actually get to control and send it to do different things, from shocking enemies to putting up shields to even cloaking you, making you invisible. Jack becomes such an integral part to the gameplay loop that's going on that it just feels natural. After you get introduced to it, it just becomes part of the gameplay, and I really enjoyed that. And getting to upgrade Jack throughout the whole game, getting little components that you would put towards upgrading him, essentially his skill tree or whatever. But I thought that was a really cool way of making me want to explore the world more. And while exploring, they have also introduced a new collection system, like little artifacts and everything. There's a lot of them. It's almost too much. The thing that I really liked with the artifact system is it adds to the story. It gives you kind of a little glimpse of some things, maybe even before it happens, and it explains people's motives, which I think is really interesting. I always love some good world building, and thankfully it's not just left up to the lore or the artifacts that you're picking up like some games do, but it does flesh out some of the story more and more. If you're playing co-op, you either get to play as Kate or Dell, but the third option is Jack. It's definitely a more support role, and you even get to do that in Horde as well. But if you're looking to play co-op, that is a new different thing, but it still does allow you to play in the gameplay. There are some quality of life changes that I really like, being able to reload a full clip to get that active reload bonus, just a little bit more damage on my bullets, but you can do that now without wasting any bullets at all. I know in the older games you had to at least shoot one round off to be able to reload and everything, but now you can just reload at any time. The technical issues, definitely some loading problems, some dead screens where it would just keep loading. I had to restart a few times. On the PC side, I played both on Xbox One and PC. On the Xbox side, it seemed a little bit better, like it ran a little bit smoother than the PC. Like I cranked the PC all the way up just to see how it would handle it and everything. The game was gorgeous, but there was definitely a lot of loading problems, especially later in the game. In big integral moments, it would chug, and you were like, what's going on? There was a moment, it was like one of the last cutscenes, it was just chugging through it, like it was having a hard time getting through it. And it's just little things like that. I think the longer the game is out, they will patch that more and more. And yeah, I probably could have turned it down from ultra or insane on some of these down a little bit more, but I know many people have had issues with it overall. So it's not just me. There are some issues with loading some of these areas. But there are some definitely quality of life improvements, which I really liked. The interaction with characters seemed a little bit better. There was a few times where like I would get got essentially, and no one would save me. The AI just was like, ain't gonna die. We get to do this over again. Just so a few things like that going on through there. But the gameplay overall feels great. It works really well, and I know there will be improvements, along the way to help those issues that we've been going on. I do have to brag on the handoff system that Xbox has got going on right now between the PC and the Xbox One. This is the first time that I've tried it, and it worked flawlessly. I really enjoyed it. Along with the gameplay, let's talk about some of the multiplayer. Of course, you've got your normal multiplayer. You've got your deathmatch and your capture the flag and all of that. They've introduced King of the Hill. There's some arms race stuff as well. I didn't play that much of the multiplayer, and one of the reasons is there was a lot of issues trying to get into games. It would take a really long time compared to other things, and I think that's of course server issues with the launch of a game. If you are on the Xbox, you can do cross-play between the PC and the Xbox. You can turn it off if you want to. That way you've got a little bit more fair chance, especially with the ranked games. So that option is there for you. But Horde mode, let's talk about some Horde mode. My favorite multiplayer section. It is awesome. I really enjoyed it. I like the inclusion of the abilities. I only played as Dell, so I haven't played too much because I really like managing the builds of your turrets and your all your stuff that you're in Horde mode to do. That's essentially helping you stay alive. The group that I was playing with really liked going out and shooting stuff, which I am all for that. But I really like building all the the gates and the turrets and all of the traps and all of this kind of stuff. That's how I love playing Horde mode. I have since Gears 2. You get all of those kills. Like if you're building and maintaining like all of that stuff, you're getting those kills. And with Dell, you get a bonus onto your skills and everything of like rebuilding and all of that. I really enjoyed it. Getting to wave 50, like it gets progressively harder. There's some new things that are introduced which make it more challenging. Everything, there's a mix of the enemies from Gears 4 and Gears 5 in that, which I think is pretty cool. The wave 50 with the map that I was playing on, it was a inside map, so we weren't seeing like Brumax or anything like that, but you're definitely getting some very big challenges. But if you work together and you use the environment to your advantage, you're going to be in a much better position by the end of the game. So don't let your stuff go away. Don't take care of your stuff and heal your partners and all that good stuff, and you'll get to wave 50. It might be frustration, but you'll get to wave 50 eventually. But yeah, I really loved Horde. The last mode I haven't got to check out yet. I've been busy getting through the campaign and playing a little bit of Horde mode, but is Escape, and you get dropped into the middle of a hive, and you have to plant a bomb and escape by fighting waves through that before it explodes and everything. From the previews and everything that I've heard and seen, it looks really cool. I will be doing a separate video on just Escape mode because I do want to dive into it. I want to experience it and kind of give my opinions on it and everything. But I really enjoyed the gameplay part of the game. Now, the story is so important to me, and that's one of the reasons why I didn't enjoy Gears 4. And I think that's why a lot of people didn't enjoy Gears 4 on that end. I know a lot of people really liked the multiplayer and all of that, but Gears 4 was in my opinion. But Gears 5 invest in character development and it invest in building the world, and I think that is the biggest thing that the first three did really well and Judgment and Gears 4 did not. But Gears 5 does an awesome job. We pick up right off where we left off in Gears 4, where we find out Kate's history. Her grandmother is Queen Mira. Spoiler alert. Getting the journey through Gears 5, finding out more about Kate's family's past is just really cool. The way they have structured Gears 5 is in 4 acts this time around, and it is the largest Gears game to date. The first act, it's a little bit methodical, but it does have a lot of good action in it. And the second and third acts opens up into this more overworld type thing. It felt like a Zelda game, not Breath of the Wild, but older Zelda games, where you had a larger map and you get to explore it, and you get to explore it on this thing called a skiff. And this is where they have introduced a new kind of gameplay loop. I know I didn't touch on this in the gameplay because it deals with the story mode more. They've introduced side missions here, and the side missions tie into kind of the overarching thing. There's one, and this is not really a spoiler. You're trying to find these people, you're trying to help them out, and as you go through the story, you find more and more clues. I just really like that, and as you go on, the side missions become optional if you want them, but it does, give you more components for Jack, and it also helps flesh out more time in Gears 5, which I was happy to get more and more time in the game. There is also some optional side adventures you want to go on. They're not side missions, but you can go into, there's a train yard, like a derelict train yard that you go into to find some components for Jack. And this is a little bit more challenging combat here and everything. You don't have to do these, but it does give you more supplies. You get, more weapons and everything that you can take with you on your journey. And I just really enjoyed being able to explore more of the Gears just world. So far we've gotten, each game has kind of opened up a little bit more over time, but this one is definitely the largest in scale, and I really enjoyed it. And then the fourth chapter is more of the traditional Gears, where it's very linear and everything, but I enjoyed all the chapters. Each one of them had just a little bit different feel to them, but they all worked really well in telling the story overall. And I'm not going to give it any spoilers and anything, but I really enjoyed the game overall because they did such a good job of storytelling. I think at the further we got into it, I think they lost a little bit of steam, but what we had experienced earlier in the game helped push it all the way to the end. And I just really enjoyed what they did here. The Coalition did an awesome job, and I'm just excited to see where we go with Gears 6, which is kind of crazy to hear. Gears 6, wouldn't even think about that. One thing that I want to point out here and kind of brag on Gears 5 for is something that you probably won't even think about, but it's the options that you have available in the options menu. And you can go in and actually turn off profanity and gore. So you can have a game that you're not hearing all these expletives, and Gears is pretty much known for all of that, but you're not getting bombarded with that, especially if you've got smaller children, or if you don't want to hear that. You're not constantly getting, there's a few of them that do get through that they're not considering cuss words, so just be prepared for that. But not having gore in the game definitely changes the feel of it, but it is also allowing more people to come into the franchise, which I think is really cool. But if you're not wanting to see all of that, I think that is a huge thing. I know I definitely experimented seeing, what each side of it looks like and what it feels like and everything. And I just really enjoyed that was an option. And I know that was a conversation that me and Amy had, that, that was just really cool that not everybody does that. And I just wanted to commend the Coalition for adding that feature in there. I think it's going to see more people come into it. Parents getting to bring in their kids and play the game without all of that being in there is a huge plus, in my opinion. It is an M-rated game. There's, some mature themes. There's deep things. There's, all of that. But it definitely has that option in there where you're not exposing yourself or your child or whoever it is to all of it at the same time. And I just really think that's cool, and kudos to them. That's a huge plus in my book, is having that option there. One of the last things that I want to talk about is the soundtrack for Gears 5. It is a totally different take on the soundtrack that we're used to, and this is courtesy of Ramin Djawadi. I think that's how you pronounce his name. He actually has worked on Westworld, but he has done a fantastic job. It's a much more subtle soundtrack compared to like Gears 2. I really love Gears 2 and Gears 3 and even Gears 1 soundtrack. But it's a much more subtle soundtrack going through the game, and you hear themes that come in later that tie in together that just does a fantastic job. So just a great soundtrack. It's ambient at times. It has, that kind of, it really brings you into the world where it might not be as memorable in a lot of places as the other Gears soundtracks, but it definitely makes you feel what's going on. So I really enjoyed the soundtrack for the game. So my verdict for Gears 5 is this: if you are invested in the Gears of War saga, this is a must play. This is something that you're going to want to jump into and enjoy, and I think the world building is going to bring you back in. Even if you didn't enjoy 4 or even Judgment, I think this is the right track that we need to be on for Gears 5. If you're new to the franchise, this is a great jumping off point. It does a great job of reintroducing the story from Gears 4, so you don't even have to play it. But if you are not wanting to see a ton of violence or hear cussing and all of that, there are the options that I talked about. There is still stuff in the game that you might not agree with, and that is up to you. But I think overall, it is a really good quality game. I say it's a must play. Yeah, is it a game of the year contender? To some people, maybe it might be their, game of the decade, because I really love it. But it is a game that I think more people should play. It is really fun, and I can't wait to jump back in and get some more Gears. And I'm going to have that escape video for you in the next few days. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you want to see more reviews, let me know down in the comments, what would you like to see reviewed. I know we've got Link's Awakening coming out this month, which looks awesome, and there's a lot of other stuff coming out in the next few months and everything, and I'm just excited for some awesome content. If you want to see the live streams and everything, make sure you hit the subscribe button. We're going to be getting on a schedule here. We're going to be doing some awesome things, so definitely check all of that out. We've got a ton of videos in the archive, so hit all of those up. Thank y'all for watching. This has been Zach, and y'all have a blessed day.